I've said it before, I'll say it again. Antioch is one of the fastest growing cities in Northern California, one of the fastest growing cities in Contra Costa County, now being its second, and one of the most diverse cities in the San Francisco Bay Area, and not just because of race or ethnic backgrounds, but because of socioeconomic backgrounds. So Antioch is no longer some small town off the Delta. So it means that our leaders, including myself, have to be more well-rounded and well-versed on topics of local, state, national, and international significance that can impact Antioch. U.S. trade with China, as an example, has grown in recent decades, and both countries depend on one another. China is one of the United States' largest trading partners, third, as a matter of fact, which means both countries rely on one another for goods and services. So regardless of the political rhetoric in Washington, D.C. about China, the U.S. and China have a symbiotic economic relationship, and it's important. In addition to that, the United States and China together make up about 42% of global emissions. We have to work with local leaders in China to combat and mitigate the impacts, the real impacts of climate change. It's happening right before our eyes. My trip to China was about promoting best practices around climate change and promoting tourism, cultural exchanges, and creating opportunities for future economic collaboration and cooperation at the local level. Let me also take time to say the people of China are some of the most beautiful and warm-hearted people I have had the honor to meet. I want to publicly thank them for their enormous hospitality during my visits to Hong Kong and Chongqing, especially in the Dazhou district. That was a place that I absolutely admired going to. During my trip, I attended several meetings and seminars to promote Antioch's critical economic and cultural strengths, to boost business here and tourism as well. The trip was divided into 4 parts. The first leg of my trip included a stop in Hong Kong, where I was hosted by members of the Hong Kong Chief Executive Office, the China-United States Exchange Foundation, and Invest Hong Kong to discuss international trade opportunities, including the need for U.S. businesses to expand into economic markets in Hong Kong. Why is this important? This is key because for our country, while China is one of our largest trade partners, there is a trade imbalance between the U.S. and China, meaning China imports more goods and services into the United States than the U.S. imports into China. So the second part of my trip, I was hosted by the mayor of Chongqing and senior members of his administration. I just want to say that the mayor of Chongqing is a mayor of a municipality of over 32 million people, almost the size of California. I met with him. And we met to promote cultural exchanges through education and education partnerships and friendship city opportunities. If there was one key takeaway from this trip, it was that the Chinese value friendships to facilitate business and economic growth opportunity. This is why moving forward, that as the mayor of Antioch, I plan to boost Antioch's sister city relationships from a cultural understanding, but more importantly, from an economic perspective. These sister city partnerships will be key if we want to compete in an international market. And just like in the United States, China places a high value on education. Their president, Xi Jinping, has proposed bringing 50,000 U.S. students from middle school to PhD candidates to China to deepen our appreciation for one another. The mayor of Chongqing and his Deputy Director General of Education, whom I joined for dinner, are ready to assist in that effort and are looking for cities like Antioch to participate. The Chinese know that climate change is real, and local cities can do more in the fight to combat climate change and its impacts. While there, I was invited to address over 50 international mayors and more than 300 participants in Chongqing's Green City Development Summit. The summit focused on building green, resilient, and inclusive cities. I was honored to share in best practices regarding Antioch's climate action strategy, from building a new water desalination plant to transitioning our city's vehicle fleet to zero emissions. The third part of the visit focused on international investment and trade. During this leg of the trip, I had the opportunity to participate in the Western China International Fair for Investment and Trade, where I spoke to several businesses about investing in Antioch. I also toured the Lijiang Collaborative Innovation Zone and the Chongqing Western Science Center, which are centers of innovation I was proud to share, as the mayor, the work we're doing here in Contra Costa County related to infrastructure and transportation innovation through my work as vice chair of the Contra Costa Transportation Authority. There's a lot of work that we're doing there that I thought was beneficial. From our Gomentum station, the only connected autonomous vehicle testing facility in the United States, to our autonomous EV glideway system that will connect Antioch, Brentwood, Oakley, and Pittsburgh through dedicated glideways, and an autonomous electric vehicle that many of you have heard about or have seen on my social media or on the news. I see a lot of opportunities for collaboration in this area of innovation. The last leg of my trip included a visit to Dazhu District. This place will be in my heart for a long, long time. What I truly found special was not just that the places that we visited were special, but also the genuine hospitality by the leaders of Dazhu, including their mayor and vice mayor, who were two of the most dynamic individuals I had the honor of meeting during my trip to China. I was truly blown away by how, even with language barriers, we were able to connect in so many special ways just as human beings, especially with their vice mayor. Everyone in my delegation truly enjoyed spending time with her. Dazhu, and if you haven't visited, please visit Dazhu, is unique because of the Dazhu rock carvings. The rock carvings are a series of Chinese religious sculptures and carvings. They are a beautiful sight to see, not just because of the carvings, but also the history of the carvings, which depict Buddhist, Confucian, and Taoist beliefs as the cornerstone of their history. The Dazhu rock carvings are so unique that they are a World Heritage Site. So it was a deep honor to visit the Dazhu rock carvings. I was so impressed because I saw so many similarities and opportunities for Antioch that we often take for granted. Not only for Antioch and for our entire region, but as Californians. I'm always proud that Antioch is one of California's oldest cities. I'm always proud to say that. It is, and it means something about who we are as a city. The Black Diamond Regional Preserve was once the largest coal mining district in California from 1860 to 1914, producing more than 400 million short tons of coal. The coal from the Black Diamond mines was shipped to Sacramento, was shipped to Stockton, was shipped to places like San Francisco. They powered rail, they powered ships, they powered heavy industry, they powered everything that built California as we know it today. The Black Diamond Mines Regional Park is listed as a U.S. National Register of Historic Places, designated as a U.S. Historic District, and is a California Historical Landmark, specifically number 932. We're not some small town off the Delta, as I said earlier. It's not that Antioch can become a destination city. We already are a destination city. Just as we're a destination city for tourism and recreation, we can be, once again, a destination city for commerce, which was the point of my trip. Because of our deep water ports, because of our close to 1 million square feet of new manufacturing facilities, warehousing and logistics, our access to BNSF Rail, which connects businesses to more than 400 rail lines throughout the United States, because of our former facilities that are primed for repurposing and to accommodate the green technology and innovation, and because of the incredible, high-skilled, highly educated workforce that lives right here in this city. We're primed for greatness if we just focus on the right things. And I'm just couldn't have been more honored to be your mayor and to represent us on a global scale and talk about the great things of who Antioch is and who Antioch is becoming for the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 100 years. And so I want to thank you for tuning in, but thank you more importantly for trusting me as your mayor to represent our community internationally, to bring home opportunities that are going to continue to enhance the city of Antioch. Thank you again for tuning in.